Hello and welcome to this edition of FYI Weekly, your official source for the latest news and information from the city of Greensboro. As a result of the first Guilford County case of coronavirus announced on Tuesday, March 17th, all city library branches, indoor parks and recreation facilities, the Greensboro History Museum, Greensboro Cultural Center, and Greensboro Aquatic Center are closed. The Greensboro Farmers Curb Market has also been suspended. No timetable has been set to reopen these facilities. City board and commission meetings have been canceled for the next 30 days. The next Greensboro City Council meeting is scheduled for 5:30 p.m. on Tuesday, March 31st, but it will not be open to the public. The Greensboro Fire Department and Police Department will continue to respond to service calls with no interruptions. The Greensboro Police substations on Maple Street and Swing Road are closed to the public for the foreseeable future. Meantime, GPD is asking residents to adhere to the CDC recommendations and the governor's executive order regarding gatherings. The United Way of Greater Greensboro and the City of Greensboro are supporting residents impacted by the coronavirus by establishing the Greensboro Virus Relief Fund. The Greensboro Virus Relief Fund is accepting donations to support local children and families impacted by the virus. United Way and the city will coordinate with local nonprofits to determine ongoing needs and fund distribution. Areas of anticipated need include food, education, employment reductions, housing, medical, and resources for the small business community. To make a donation, either text the word virus to 40403 or visit unitedwaygso.org to make an online donation. The NC Works Career Centers in Greensboro and High Point are closed temporarily. Staff will continue to monitor the situation but plan to reopen the centers on Monday, April 6th. Meantime, the NC Works Career Centers will continue operations providing remote services by phone. Contact the NC Works Career Center in Greensboro at 336-297-9444 or the High Point location at 336-882-4141. Other inquiries can be made online at ncworks.gov. Unemployment claims can be filed online. For questions or assistance, contact the Customer Call Center at 888-737-0259. In an effort to help each of us improve our quality of life, the city has partnered with Cone Health for a series of brief and informative videos designed to inspire you to make better choices when it comes to healthy living. Let's check in with our friends at Cone Health for today's news for your health.
Hi, my name is Dr. Kate Tabori and I'm with LeBauer Primary Care at MedCenter High Point, and today we're going to talk about ways to prevent the cold and flu. So why don't you join me? So frequently we get asked, what is the difference between a cold and the flu? They're both viral illnesses. However, a cold is the less severe of the two, typically with a runny nose, maybe a sore throat, some cough and congestion, whereas the flu is on the more severe end of the spectrum, typically with fevers, severe body aches, and you can tell exactly the time when your flu started because it's a sudden onset. So other important information you need heading into the cold and flu season to keep your family and yourself healthy are how to prevent getting colds and flus. So the most important thing you and your family can do is get the flu shot. That means everyone over 6 years old and who doesn't have a contraindication, and I mean allergy, should be getting the flu shot. Sorry, that's you. Other things you need to do are hand washing, good old-fashioned soap and water. They recommend doing it for 20 seconds or as long as it takes to sing happy birthday. I'll spare you. But it is important because that effectively kills the virus. The other things you can certainly do are making sure you are getting plenty of sleep because that keeps your immune system healthy, lots of fruits and vegetables, plenty of water, and regular exercise is also a good boost to the immune system. Other things you can do are already provided for you in the community. When grocery shopping or shopping at one of the large chains, use one of the hand sanitizers to clean your cart. Because if someone before you and then touches, shops, guess who's going to be the beneficiary of those germs? You are. So, what you need to do, flu shot for everyone, make sure you're getting plenty of sleep, fruits and vegetables, regular exercise, lots of water, wash your hands, and make sure you use those wipes when available. Other thing is, make sure you carry your own pen. You'd be surprised how dirty those things are. A simple way to keep you and your family healthy is how you cover your cough or sneeze. And the old way, where we used our hands, well, that doesn't work out so well. Cough, touch, kind of gross. You've now left those who come behind you susceptible to your germs. So what we recommend and try and teach even our youngest patients is to cover your cough or sneeze like this. That way, your hand is still clean and free to touch doorknobs, pens, counters, or cabinets without getting those behind you sick. Typically, the next question we hear is, well, if I know it's a cold or I know it's the flu, when do I go and see my doctor? The answer to that question is, if you have the cold, we recommend that you stay home and treat supportively with over-the-counter measures such as cough syrups, decongestants, and maybe pain relievers such as Tylenol or ibuprofen. Whereas if it's the flu and you're suffering from high fevers that don't go away with Tylenol or ibuprofen, severe headaches, any shortness of breath or chest pain, we recommend that you call your doctor and schedule an appointment. The other people who need an appointment to be seen are those people who fall under the category of chronic medical conditions, or the very young, under 2, or the older people in the community. Thanks for joining me today. Hopefully, I've given you and your family some good information to keep you healthy this winter. Remember, get those flu shots, wash your hands, and hopefully I'll see you and your family somewhere other than the doctor's office. I'm Dr. Kate Tabori, and for more information, go to conehealth.com.
The city is reminding residents to access services online for library and recreation needs. We'll have that story and more news coming up after the break. Stay with us. Welcome back to FYI Weekly. The Parks and Recreation Department has developed a series of virtual programs for the community to offset the recreation centers being closed. Alternate programs will include activities that can be safely conducted outdoors with appropriate social distancing. Parks and Recreation staff will broadcast Facebook Live videos Monday through Friday at 1 p.m. for the foreseeable future. The Facebook posts will focus on a variety of areas such as environmental education, fitness, and Start Smart sports drills. Parks and Recreation is also offering virtual tour videos on social media, such as 360 views of gardens, trails, greenways, mountain bike rides, lakes, and disc golf. The library branches are closed, but there is a vast array of resources available virtually. The library's digital options are due in large part to the library reallocating $100,000 towards the purchase of additional e-books and downloadable material. North Carolina Digital Library offers access to an extensive collection of downloadable audiobooks, e-books, and e-videos. This is available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. NC Kids is an online library just for kids, also available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Library card holders can access Canopy and sign up to start streaming more than 30,000 films. Films can be streamed from any platform by downloading the Canopy app. BrainFuse provides homework help as well as assistance for veterans and job seekers. Newsbank allows access to today's edition of the News and Record, as well as past articles going back to 1990. Last but not least, the library is using Facebook to share instructional videos and other programs offered by library staff. The Mayor's Committee for Persons with Disabilities is accepting applications for the Stephen Nyer Memorial Scholarship for Outstanding Students with Disabilities. The deadline to submit nominations is Thursday, April 30th. Nominations can be submitted online on the city's website. This year, the committee will award at least one scholarship in the amount of $750. This will be presented to a high school senior with disabilities who will be enrolling in continuing education, such as a trade school, community college, or four-year college or university. The Mayor's Committee for Persons with Disabilities is a nonprofit coalition of business, human service agencies, and individuals of all abilities with the mission to create a barrier-free community. For more information or to nominate a student, please visit the city's website. Needless to say, we are living in trying times as the coronavirus has become part of our daily conversation. Coming up after the break, we'll talk to City Manager David Parrish about the city's response to this pandemic. Stay with us. Welcome back to FYI Weekly. The community is on high alert as schools are closed and government agencies alter operations to keep up with the ever-changing coronavirus situation. Joining me now to talk about the city of Greensboro's response is City Manager David Parrish. Hello, Mr. Parrish. Welcome to the show.
Hey, Carla. Good to see you.
Good to see you. Now, you immediately moved the city into what we call reduced operating hours and telecommuting. How has that impacted operations?
We've seen a good response from our staff. Most of them have kind of taken the advice and taken the suggestion. When we reduced to 10 to 3, operating from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m., that helped us stay in line with what CDC was recommending to kind of minimize that human contact. We've been monitoring it daily. We will continue to monitor it daily. I've been very impressed by our staff. They have continued to show up where needed for the critical services, especially to kind of continue to serve this great community.
Okay, well, you know, as the first case of the virus was confirmed for Guilford County, things drastically changed in terms of our operations. Can you go over what facility closures resulted from that? So
we basically, our public-facing facilities, the main one that's still operational would be City Hall. So the municipal building here that we're actually serve out of. We've closed recreation centers, libraries, our kitchen operations center, which is where one site where you can go pay water bills, for instance. We've closed that facility. Most of our other operating facilities have been closed to the public, but you still can come to City Hall from 10 to 3. We've got open spaces still available where we will continue to monitor that if need be, but for now those seem to be still in line with the no large gatherings. We've canceled events, classes, programs. We just went ahead and felt that the most responsible thing to do for this community, and as in guidelines with what's been recommended by the CDC, to minimize that human interaction as much as possible, social distancing.
Right, and that list included our History Museum
Yes.
and the Aquatic Center, very
Yes.
popular hangouts for children with the schools being closed. Now, the parking enforcement is something that people tend to be mindful of on a good day, and now we have made some changes to their services during this critical period. What has changed with parking enforcement?
So for a couple of reasons, obviously just to minimize that contact, we felt it was essential as we evaluate with all departments what's the most critical, and also recognizing now that the restaurants and bars were required to be closed. We wanted to help facilitate parking where we can downtown. We know that can be an issue. We just felt like utilizing that parking enforcement wasn't the best idea at this time. So the spaces are available along Elm Street, even inside the city garage for hourly parking. We're not monitoring that. We're not charging for hourly parking in the garage. If you have business that you'd like to take care of, especially supporting our local business and our local economy with restaurants, you know, we wanted to help facilitate that in any way we possibly can. So one way was we're going to not enforce parking requirements. We hope that people will use that to come in, call in an order, come pick it up, and utilize the space that is freely available now.
Excellent. Now, many people are either having reduced work hours or maybe being let go altogether. The city is trying to help to reduce the burden in terms of not disconnecting water service if
Correct.
they have an account past due. How long will that be an option?
We're formalizing some more longer-term plans, but we went ahead and made that decision earlier on in the process, along with many other utility providers. The plan would probably be for at least through the end of March, and then we'll reevaluate past that point, because we know that there's going to be an additional burden for people as they kind of work through all of the impacts of this virus. We would encourage people, though, again, that it's, you know, to pay your bill if you're able. If you're not, to please contact us as soon as you possibly can to start working through any payment plans or structured payments that we possibly can help you out with that, because we don't want someone to come through this experience and then have just forgotten perhaps that they needed to pay a water bill, because it's still going to be there as you're using water. Same thing for your electric, you know, Duke Energy or your gas bill or any of the bills that you might have. contact whomever your utility provider or even a bank or a lending institution to have those conversations as early as you can to help try to structure any payments that might be helpful for you.
That's really good advice because there's so much going on and people are
Right.
trying to balance either their work schedule has changed, kids are now home from school. That's a lot to contend with. Now, our city council meetings are typically televised, but now it seems like we might have to rely on that, at least in this early period of this virus as it's spreading. How are we going to handle hosting city council meetings and still have public involvement?
So what we're going to do is we're planning for now to have a meeting on March 31st. We will follow as close as we possibly can the CDC guidelines on gatherings and meetings, but we're also going to follow some guidance that's come up from the UNC School of Government on how do we have an open government process too. We feel like we can do both, and we will navigate that on March 31st. We will televise the meeting, as you said. We always do, but we'll continue to televise it on that 31st date and handle it kind of as a virtual meeting. We have held our public comment period for the month of March, so we've got that taking place. And what we plan to do for the 31st is not hold the public hearing meetings, the items, so that those that are required by state law to have a public hearing, a formal public hearing, we will hold those until April and kind of work through how we maybe can satisfy those requirements in April. But for now, the March 31st meeting will be to handle kind of that critical city business because we still have to continue to function, still have to operate, and there's things that we need to work through as an organization, and we plan to do that on March 31st through televising it and then practicing kind of safe spacing guidelines as well.
Okay, and just a programming note, we also stream city council meetings on the city's website and also on Roku for those who are subscribers to Roku. Now, before we go, many residents are concerned about our local economy as well as our local business owners. What, if any, advice do you have for them as we try to get through this period?
I would say kind of like what I did earlier on the utility bills. You know, whatever financial relationships you have with your lenders or with anyone else, go ahead and start having those conversations now. I think most banks are encouraging you to do that too. We are working with partners such as the Chamber of Commerce. They are hosting daily teleconferences on any number of ideas, how to deal with small business associations, lending institutions. United Way has also come out and said publicly that they're going to work for a virus kind of relief fund. There's good information on their website. I know the local foundations are interested in partnering well. In the coming days, we should have information that we can push out about the process and about the planning that's going on and how people can actually start taking advantage of that. We're early into this. Yes. We all are reacting and as quickly and efficiently as we possibly can. So I think that all of the agencies that we work with regularly, the county, again, the chamber, many nonprofits, really working with our small business so that they can stay open or at least so we can support those employees that may be experiencing some layoffs. We all, again, I've said this repeatedly, we live here, we work here, we play here. We're neighbors and we're all in this together, and we're going to do everything we can to kind of come together, hopefully in the coming days, and make some announcements about how we can support each other even to another level.
Wonderful. Well, Mr. Parrish, thank you for all you do each day to keep the city afloat as we navigate through these uncertain times. We do want to remind our community to stay tuned for all of the latest news, cancellations, and services on the COVID-19 webpage on the city's website. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Stay tuned for some useful information about Greensboro as we tell you something about the city. That's coming up after the break. Stay with us. Welcome back to FYI Weekly. One way to stay informed about decisions that impact our city is by tuning in to City Council meetings at 5:30 p.m. on the first and third Tuesday of the month. The fourth Tuesday is reserved for a meeting as needed. The Greensboro City Council meetings are open to the public, and we broadcast the meetings right here on GTN. The meetings are also streamed live on the city's website and on Roku. City Council meetings take place on Level 2 of the Melvin Municipal Office Building located at 300 West Washington Street. To review the council meeting schedule and agendas, please visit the city's website. Here's an opportunity to learn a little something about the city. By now, you should have received a postcard invitation in your mailbox to respond online to the 2020 census. According to NC Counts Coalition, North Carolina could lose $16,000 in federal funding over a 10-year period for each North Carolina resident who is not counted in the 2020 census. The census gives the federal government an updated snapshot of the services and facilities needed in the community and how much funding is required to maintain them. The census also determines the number of seats in the U.S. House of Representatives and electoral college votes for each state. All Greensboro residents should participate regardless of age, race, or citizenship status. There are 3 easy ways to complete the census. You will be asked to complete the census questionnaire either online, over the phone, or on paper. If you don't complete the census by the second week of April, you will be sent a reminder letter and a paper census questionnaire to return in the mail. For more information about the census, please visit the city's website. Coming up after the break, we'll showcase our department spotlight, but first we have a special message from Mayor Nancy Vaughn regarding the coronavirus.
Hi, I'm Mayor Nancy Vaughn. I want you to know that we, the City of Greensboro, are taking every action possible to help reduce the spread of the coronavirus. As mayor, I jointly signed on to Guilford County's emergency declaration on March 13th. Since the circumstances have changed, we want to take additional precautions not currently available under the declaration without county approval. Your city council is united in wanting to be a leader in flattening the curve in North Carolina. To be socially responsible, we support the CDC guidelines, and we are recommending gatherings be limited to 10 people or less. Of course, this is difficult, but it is a necessity for our community to stay as safe as possible, as now we have multiple confirmed cases of the virus in Guilford County. To go even further, we are recommending that all gyms, fitness centers, health clubs, yoga studios, and theaters cease operations. This does not prohibit establishments from providing fitness or health instructions and programming through virtual channels. These are trying and unprecedented times for our community and our country. By strictly following CDC guidelines and practicing social distancing, we all can do our part to help get through this crisis. As a reminder, Governor Cooper issued an executive order to suspend dine-in services at restaurants and bars. Regulation around mass gatherings have been provided and schools have been closed. To date, we have drastically altered government operations to limit in-person interaction, and we are allowing employees to work remotely. All city library branches, indoor parks and recreation facilities, the Greensboro History Museum, Greensboro Cultural Center, and the Greensboro Aquatic Center are closed. The Greensboro Farmers Curb Market has also suspended operations. City board and commission meetings have been canceled for the next 30 days. The Greensboro Fire and Police Departments continue to respond to service calls with no interruptions. The Greensboro Police substations on Maple Street and Swing Road are closed to the public for the foreseeable future. All GPD public service operations have consolidated at the police headquarters downtown. To assist downtown merchants, parking enforcement is suspended and hourly parking in the decks is free. Water and electric utilities will not be shut off through the end of March for non-payment. We are offering much of our services online, and our parks remain available to you, and we encourage you to use them, but use them responsibly by practicing social distancing. We will continue to monitor the spread of the coronavirus and coordinate with state and county officials. Please leave groceries. Don't hoard. Think of your neighbors. Maintain social distancing. Support local businesses when you can. Wash your hands often and stay out of large groups to reduce the risk of transmission. As a community, we've been tested before, and we've always come through stronger. We will get through this together. When communicating, rely on facts, not fear. Thank you.
Welcome back. The City of Greensboro has more than 20 departments and several divisions committed to serving you, our residents and visitors. Let's go behind the scenes in our department spotlight. As city operating hours are reduced, key neighborhood development services can be accessed online. Phone numbers, inspector names, and email links are listed in the left column of the web page. Among other topics, links are provided for the following information: reporting a code violation, making payments, front yard parking, junked and abandoned vehicles, and the good repair ordinance. Housing applications are available online for the city's lead-safe housing program and housing rehabilitation programs. Contact information is also listed for down payment assistance and housing counseling programs. For questions about code compliance, visit the city's website. Straight ahead on the other side of the break is this week's Way to Go GSO shout out. Stay with us. As we draw to a close, we always want to end on a positive note with our Way to Go GSO shout out. This week's shout out goes to the Greensboro community. Thank you to Guilford County, the City of High Point, nonprofit organizations, Chamber of Commerce, Guilford County Schools, and the City of Greensboro for all efforts to navigate the community through this health crisis. An additional shout out goes to you, our residents. Thank you for your patience and cooperation as we demonstrate we can get through this as we are Greensboro strong. That concludes this edition of FYI Weekly, but you can easily stay connected to the latest city news by linking to us on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Instagram. Alexa users can subscribe to our 5-minute flash briefings. Be sure to download our weekly podcast, Talk City Greensboro. And now GTN is streaming on Roku. For all of us here at the City of Greensboro, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.